misinformation, disinformation. This is all they can talk about lately coming out of the White House. It's really, really concerning. So the New York Post, which of course last election cycle got in all kinds of trouble for its alleged misinformation, which all turned out to be right. I'm talking about the laptop. They had a title the other day called Calm Before the Storm. So this was on Friday. This was before Helene. This was before Milton. And what they were basically talking about is how Mayorkas had said they don't have any more money. The quote was, FEMA does not have the funds, right, to make it through the rest of hurricane season if there were more storms. I'll play the quote right now. And so they were just comparing and contrasting all the money, and it's a lot of money that's been spent on migrants by FEMA. So why are we spending all this money when we know hurricane season is coming? It's a fair question. Here's Mayorkas.
We are meeting the immediate needs with the money that we have. We are expecting another hurricane hitting. We do not have the funds. FEMA does not have the funds to make it through the season.
Yeah. Because again, like, look at this graphic. If you're watching, terrific. Make sure you subscribe, like, share, all that good stuff. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, thank you for that. We have an audio version of the show available on Apple Podcasts every day, as well as Spotify. Try and give us a rating, 5 stars only, please. Give us a review. Every little bit helps. Anyway, all this money, 104 million here, 300 million there. 77 million there, 110 million there, 380 there. It all adds up, right? And then suddenly all you're left with is $750. Now, when we point this out, it's somehow seen as misinformation because maybe they'll get Congress to approve more money, or they'll move more money around. And so maybe this is the first $750. Maybe this is a down payment. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. But even if that's the case, it doesn't change what Mayorkas said. It doesn't change all the money that's been spent. It doesn't change that Kamala Harris is out there in hurricane territory, proud of the fact that she's given $750 to each family. Kamala, have you not seen grocery prices lately? Have you not seen inflation lately? Here she is.
And the federal relief and assistance that we have been providing has included FEMA providing $750 for folks who need immediate needs being met.
Yeah. So it's bad. Perhaps it could have been worse. A lot of the storm surge that they were expecting did not hit Florida in the way that they thought. So we thank God for that. But there were lives lost, and there's a ton of damage. And you have millions and millions of people right now without power. One of our producers on the team, he's one of them, David, who's down in St. Pete's, had to go weather the storm actually in Tampa with his family. Look, these are people's lives, and a lot of them don't have insurance. And they've lost their homes and everything in it. And so this is your moment as a leader, okay? This is your moment to step up to the plate. This might be the October surprise in a weird sort of sick way. I hate to think about it in such a political way, but this is not endearing her with the peeps out there. This is not helping her. Now, her side is going to look at things and say, well, maybe all these Trump people, they can't actually go out to vote. I can't believe anybody would say that, but sure enough, David Axelrod, I've played this for you before. I'm going to play it again because you know what? You need to hear how they're thinking about this.
State in the country. Here's my question about North Carolina. You had these killer storms, which, by the way, was a third big story this week.
Yes,
these
another
storms. And there's a lot of displacement in western North Carolina. Now, Asheville is a blue dot in that area.
I was going to say, Asheville's
voters there.
Yeah,
but those voters in Asheville are they're the kind of voters who will figure out a way to vote. They're upscale, kind of liberal voters, and they're probably going to figure out a way to vote. I'm not sure a bunch of these folks who've had their homes and lives destroyed elsewhere in western North Carolina in the mountains there are going to be as easy to wrangle for the Trump campaign. So that's I don't know how that's all going to play out, but it's an unpredictable element in North Carolina that has made it maybe a little more interesting. But just in this
great way to describe it there, David, a little more interesting. because maybe you actually win North Carolina because of this. I mean, that's pretty crazy, sick stuff. There will be people that say this is a form of election interference. I'm not going to go that far right now. I'm just going to say, listen, you got to get the help to the people that need it. You got to get the politics out of the way. You got to actually do that. Kamala Harris, that is your job as the president of prospective president, as the vice president of the United States. You got to be all over this stuff. They're saying, no, there's more money. She offered $750. Mayorkas said there's no more money. So you tell me. I would just say the optics of this are really, really bad. Now, KJP kind of got into it with somebody the other day. I want to take you down memory lane. Remember a couple years ago, she was very proud of all the money that they were spending on migrants. Here she is.
No, Biden did not take FEMA relief money to use on migrants. So FEMA regional administrators have been meeting with city officials on site to coordinate available federal support from FEMA and other federal agencies. Funding is also available through FEMA's emergency food and shelter program to eligible local governments and non-for-profit organizations upon request to support humanitarian relief for migrants.
Okay, all right, so I realize, again, the optics don't look great because you've spent a lot of money, you said you're out, and you did do all those programs, but this is the time when you need to step up to the plate and you need to find the money somehow, some way, somewhere. I believe that's a line in a song from West Side Story. Anyway, here's Tom Cotton. Senator Tom Cotton, who's just destroying this NBC News anchor, who's trying to say, oh, isn't this just misinformation, disinformation?
My broader question to you, I think, is about this misinformation. Do you think this is a time to put falsehoods aside, like the idea that FEMA funds are being redirected to migrants, which is just not true?
Well, it is true that FEMA and the Department of Homeland Security have been spending billions of dollars on migrants. Now, I understand some people say they're separate funds, but we just passed a short-term spending bill. It's very common for the administration to come and ask for permission to move money between funds, especially to prepare for emergencies. And second, I would note that this administration seems to have no problem finding money when they want to spend it on their priorities. When they need hundreds of billions of dollars to pay off student loans for graduate students in gender studies programs, they somehow find it. When it's trying to get helicopters to deliver food and water and cellular service and life-saving medicine into these mountain valleys, they somehow can't seem to find the money.
Good job, Senator Cotton. Good job. Okay, so this isn't misinformation. The reality is, we're scrounging for bucks right now, but somehow we didn't have that challenge earlier with FEMA. You needed to help the migrants. They're getting months and months in free hotels. You've got food programs for them, Medicare type programs. I mean, wow, like this costs money. What is the point of it? If you listen to Elon Musk, the point of it is to change the makeup of certain states, including places like Georgia. Georgia, which came to down to some 12,000 votes in 2020. Well, they've brought in a lot of migrants. They've taken them on this fast path to citizenship. And according to DHS, we have now somewhere around 150,000 migrants that are being made citizens this year. So the question then becomes, who do they vote for? I don't think it's a given that they vote for Kamala Harris. But is there this gratitude? That's the question. And if so, is that a form of manipulation when you're depositing people in different states because you think that you get a better shot at winning that state, a swing state that otherwise would be most typically red? I mean, these are real questions and concerns right about now. And so, they'll say it's misinformation. I'll say it's optics that make you look bad.